Right, live in, I don't know if you can see that, it's counting down.
It's counting up.
Counting
You
up.
are live. You've been live for 9 minutes.
No,
Hi everyone. We are
no.
live. We're just
Oh, here we are. Here we are. Yeah. So now I think you can share it from there onto your justice page, Melanie.
I can't see it anywhere, so I don't know where it is.
Right. Let me see if I can do it. Bear with me, anyone, please. Anyone watching, I've just got to share this live feed.
Oh, I can see myself on there now. Yeah. So I could. Yes, share it. Okay, share to a group.
Right, it's not letting me share. Post scheduling additional options are available. So it's not letting me share into, even though it's got a share button. Hi, everyone.
I've just shared it.
Yeah, it's obviously me. It's the first time I'm just using StreamYard to stream on to Facebook. So it might be difficult.
Right, I can't share to a group.
Yeah, I can't. Right, it's not letting me share post. Right, hopefully I can see comments. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy has shared it. Tracy Tanner. I'm on.
So yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Tracy, can you share it to the justice page?
It's not letting me, of course, because it's me. It's
no,
not.
I mean, sorry, I meant Tracy Tanner.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Saying we're frozen. We'll just do it anyway, and hopefully it works out. If not, then tomorrow we'll do it on YouTube. They won't stop us from speaking out, Melanie. Just to say, I've got Melanie Leahy with me tonight on Facebook. For anyone who doesn't know Melanie, her son sadly died in 2012, aged 20. His name is Matthew Leahy. Melanie has been fighting for 8 years, fighting for the truth, accountability, and justice. In 2019, Melanie petitioned for a statutory public inquiry. Now, Melanie gained over 105,000 signatures. On the 30th of November 2020, they had a debate in Parliament with regards to the petition. Nadine Dorries, who is the Minister for Mental Health and Suicide and Patient Safety, has opted for a general independent inquiry. Now, this is obviously not what the public petitioned for, what Melanie petitioned for, what 105,000 people signed for. They signed for a public inquiry. Now, Melanie, I know now you have written a letter up to the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, which you now need people to sign. I have tagged it in the title. And I'm going to pass over to you now so you can explain to the people what's going to happen on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, how they can help. And can you also explain the difference? I mean, I know what it is, but just for the people watching this, what the difference is between a general independent inquiry, because obviously we know why they've opted for that, because you won't get accountability and they'll just tell you that they will learn from it, to a statutory public inquiry that everyone petitioned for.
Thanks, Tracy, and thanks to everyone that's online. Yeah, I'll try and keep it short tonight because I just want to literally get people to sign this letter. So, yes, we've been offered an independent inquiry. And of course, the press jumped on it and thought, oh, yeah, all the families would be well pleased with that. It has no powers to call staff to account. It has no powers to call them in to actually be spoken to under oath. So literally, it's like somebody that's been involved with something that's gone wrong, falsifying records, or maybe the death of the patient. Suddenly they go, hello, Jane, would you come in and talk to us and give us your evidence as to what went wrong that day? Well, no. But if it's a statutory public inquiry, it's like you are being called in and you have to come in and you will be interviewed under oath. And that is what we've been fighting for. We need to have staff brought in, because if they were going to just willingly come in and tell their truth, they would have given it years ago, and they haven't. They need to be forced. An example is I met a guy who was Matthew's advocate on the day that he said he'd been raped on the ward. I met that man in the local bar, and I said, "Oh, you were Matthew's advocate, weren't you?" And at that time, he worked for Mind. Now he did tell me that he didn't work for them anymore. He said, "Oh, I couldn't speak for them then because I worked for the trust and worked for Mind. I was an advocate." So I asked, "Could you tell me, how was my son that day? Was he distressed, angry? Was he distressed, crying? Was he distressed, sad, crying? Was he, And he said, "Can't remember. It was that old chestnut." And I said, "Well, surely you can remember. You took over the phone call when he called the police to report the rape. You know whether he was screaming in anger or he was just sobbing because he was so scared." He refused to talk to me, and I says, "Well, we're going to go to public inquiry." And he says, "Well, I won't attend." And I said, "Well, unfortunately," I said, "if I get statutory public inquiry, you will be one of my first witnesses that I call." Now, without that power, we won't be able to call these people to task. And without that power, it takes away every ounce of any family that is within this fight of getting the truth. So, yes, we asked for the statutory public inquiry. I've written a letter to Boris Johnson. I'm going up to hand deliver it on Wednesday. We should be outside number 10 opposite in Downing Street from 2 o'clock till 2:30. Hoping that the press will come down and try and squeeze a little bit of publicity in for us between Brexit and vaccines and COVID. It's horrendous the lengths we're having to go to. Now, Nadine Dorries has extended the, initially she told me on the Friday before the debate, we'd have an independent inquiry into the Linden Centre where Matthew died from 2008 to 2015. She extended it to the year 2000, which incorporates probably another four deaths, something like that. There's 55 families on this call with me now, and it cuts out so many of their loved ones' deaths. And I find that, I'm fighting for my own son's, what happened to him. What about all these other families that have lost their loved ones as well? And if she turns around and offers an independent inquiry to all of them, we all need to stand together and just say no, because it's brutal. I've spoken to two families or two groups of people that have been through the independent inquiry route, and they both said it was brutal. It took a long time, and it did not serve its purpose, and it left them more distraught at the end of it than they were at the beginning. And evidence that they had for 5 or 6 years prior to this inquiry that they worked so hard to get to was ignored. Evidence was destroyed by some of the investigators, and there was more cover-up.
Well, that's exactly what this would lead to. They can, in a general independent inquiry, they can look at the evidence in private.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Again, this is about protecting them. 105,000 people signed a petition for a public inquiry. So it's in the public's interest to hold a statutory public inquiry. Now, if you'd have been listened to years ago, because you've been fighting this for 8 years, how many deaths do you know of that potentially could have been saved? Now,
You've frozen on me now.
Yeah, of course, it's Facebook. Everyone, please, if you're listening to this, please share this. I am shadow banned, and I have no doubt that probably some of your stuff on Facebook is Melanie, although I know the papers do speak to you and do interview you. Obviously, they don't me, but our cases are not different in the fact that we've both lost our sons, just different circumstances. So I just want to play this, and this is Julie Hopper, mum to Chris Nota, 19 years of age, who died on the 7th of July 2020.
The love of our lives. There won't be a day for the rest of my life where I won't scream at the brutal, cold, evil treatment that you suffered, which inevitably resulted in your loss of life at the hands of so-called experts tasked with your healing. We thank Melanie for fighting to prevent my son's death, but she was ignored. We owe her such a debt for trying. Please don't ever let this happen again. I am begging the government to call a statutory public inquiry into Essex Mental Health Services now. This cull on the most vulnerable in our society must end.
Well done, Julia. Sorry, Melanie, but I felt that was one that had to be played.
Yeah, and when we go up on Wednesday, I've just made a banner for another mum. She's actually burying her son on Wednesday. He was 23 years old. He was in the Linden Centre, and they weren't keeping an eye on him, and he managed to get through past the office where the staff were, through 2 double doors, and under a train, and it has to stop. We also have an inquest on Wednesday that is happening. A brother, a father, and he was really, really poorly, and they discharged him, and he did no more than take himself off a bridge, just like Chris, from the same unit, I believe, or that's certainly Basildon. And yeah, I mean, why won't they listen to me? After Matthew died, ligatures, we were told, were removed. That was in 2015, I was told. 3 years after he died, yes, we removed all the ligatures, January 15. And then in February 15, another man dies by the same means. And then in May 15, another. And then they went and inspected and said they hadn't made the changes, and they weren't made till I think the September that year. And still, some of their units, the changes haven't been made. So I need everyone to just, well, it's not another petition. This is just a letter to take up, but just sign it. It takes 2 seconds. Put your name in, hit send. I don't know what else I can do. You know, you have to take to the streets, shout, get on social media. It's very, very difficult to get government to listen and wake up. And I just wonder how many more deaths before change does happen.
We've got to show the government that we're not going anywhere, and that's what Melanie's done now for 8 years, shown that she isn't going anywhere, standing up, and other families are supporting Melanie and also are involved in this, who have lost their loved ones. Many of us are being failed by not being listened to, like Melanie says. Melanie done this petition, got all 105, like I've already said, 1,000 signatures. There's a link in the title of this video to the letter that you can see for yourself. And if you could just sign it. And if anyone is available on Wednesday the 9th at 2 p.m. to come and support Melanie when she hands this letter in, to show the government that we ain't going anywhere and we are sick and tired of being ignored. Melanie, thank you for joining. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say we'll obviously have to adhere to social distancing, wear our masks. We will be lighting a candle to Jaden Boroff, and we'll launch this letter in memory of that boy that's being buried on Wednesday, and all our loved ones that have failed. And Tracy, I have to salute you, because, you know, in all this, you also have your loss. So I thank you very much for you trying to help us as well.
It's about supporting each other, and that's what needs to be done. And listen, Melanie, take care, and I'll see you Wednesday. All right,
thank you. Coming down.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'd be great.
Of course, without a shadow of a doubt.
Justice for the boys.
Absolutely. for all of us. So anyone who could join us, or even if you can't, and if you can just sign that for Melanie, for Matthew, for all those other dear lost loved ones and their families, would be truly grateful. Thank you for joining. Please share as much as you can. Take care, everyone.
Appreciate
Bye
it. Thanks, Tracy. Bye-bye.
Bye.